Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at Dragon Quest Monsters. Again. When I left off last time, the game had just done the funniest little bit by giving me a to be continued screen. As it just so happens, this game has a post-game campaign that continues the story of the base game. With that in mind, there isn't really a whole lot more to be said about the game's systems. I kind of covered it all in the first video, so this is going to be more of a focus on the new, story they added in the remake. So, without further ado, let's go check out the new content in Dragon Quest Monsters 3D. Is what I'd say if I didn't have a little bit of tidying up to do before we can really sink our teeth into this new content. For this new story to fit into the framework of the original Monster story, a couple of slight yet significant changes had to be made. For starters, the outcome of the original final battle is different. In the remake, following the fight, Terry and Millie are happily reunited and get to celebrate the Starry Night Festival together. In the original Game Boy Color release, Rodney swoops in at the last minute and recaptures Millie for her failure, and the game is like, oh no! Anyways, check out this pixelated celebration. Then they do the same, you wake up and it was a dream, but it wasn't, and, Millie's here now. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about all that. Letting Millie hang out after the fight is a totally understandable change. What's a little bit more complicated is the addition of two whole new characters. You may be surprised to learn that in the original Dragon Quest Monsters, neither Dead Tree nor Great Log existed. The kings, not the kingdom. The kingdoms did exist, they just never showed any of the rulers. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, in the remake, they kind of just add two whole new guys. There they are. Oh, and I guess they kind of spend a little bit more time characterizing Great Tree too, but only a little bit. Now, you're probably thinking, that's cool, but why is any of this important to the post-game? Easy, because of the Demon War. I mean, party dynamics. Let's hop into the new story, shall we? We resume Dragon Quest Monsters exactly where we left off, in Terry and Millie's bedroom. For whatever reason, the game is kind of acting like it's been years since we finished it, and apparently every NPC misses these two, and really wants to see them again. Okay, sure, I'll bite. Let's go back in the magic dresser. What's the worst that could happen this time? The Demon War. Dropping into the monster shrine, we're immediately swept up to the throne room to deal with our favorite... Oh, Great Log's here. Turns out he's here on business. Important business.
King Great Tree, have you ever heard tell of the sinister star? It is a dread omen that takes the appearance of a red comet.
The prophesized event in which every 100 years the evil star will fall from the sky, bringing doom.
Guys? Yes, that sinister star. Did you see it on the Starry Night?
No.
Huh. Okay, well, great you didn't see it. No big deal. Well, now that that's out of the way, Great Log can get around to the real reason he came here. Giving us the magical Keep Your Kingdom Alive MacGuffin. I mean the Spirit Stone. I guess for as cool as Terry is, Great Log didn't really want to entrust the most precious artifact in every single tree kingdom to some random kid. That's fair. Oh, okay, and he just leaves. Bye. Now we've got permission to go check out the Spirit Stone in its magic chamber. Wow! My favorite part is where it never stops droning ominously. This is actually the point where they tell you why the stone is important. The whole keeping all the giant trees alive and all. Honestly, it might have been useful to mention this during, the main story's campaign, to actually give Great Tree some motivation in the whole affair. While I'm taking a jab at this thing, can we discuss how this Spirit Stone thing is just, the worst system ever conceived? Imagine you live on some big magic tree, and the only thing keeping it alive is this other magic rock that gets, traded around based on some arbitrary tournament. God, could you imagine if your kingdom just didn't have any good monster scouts? You'd, lose every year, and the tree would just kind of die. Oh. Hey, Dead Tree. I didn't see you there. I'm just gonna head on over to the throne room now. Oh, look. A jester.
The king speaks false, for he did not witness the Dreadar fall. The crimson flame marks the end of all, for the most fearsome monster is gone.
Oh! Well, that's ominous. Hopefully nothing weird happens, I don't know, some, flying chariot circling the castle. your bondage centaur in the front of the castle. Yeah, so this goofy-looking thing has brought us our plot. These guys. These four are the Celestial Archfiends, champions of monster kind, and this Dragon Quest X created character-looking ass as their leader, Rugius. As it just so happens, 400 years ago, humanity and monsters swore an oath that every 100 years they would convene and humanity's strongest monster scout would fight the 4 strongest monsters in a battle to determine who should possess the Spirit Stone. Oh, right, the Demon War. Wait a minute, I'm the strongest monster scout. Okay, everyone, nobody say anything, and maybe they'll just go away.
Tori here is the winner of our most recent Starry Night tournament, and thus our strongest monster scout.
Gramps, what the hell? Right? Well, I guess we're locked into the Demon War now. Could we at least not say anything to make the situation any worse?
Wait, since we have the Spirit Stone, doesn't that mean monsters lost to humans last time?
Don't.
Lamau, what a bunch of losers. Got schooled by humans once, and now you're just running it back for a second whooping.
5v5. Our turf.
Cool. Great. Since apparently nobody can keep their mouths shut, now we've got to go fight them in the Demon Realm. We're also down a couple party members, like Millie's here, and I bet she'd help, but we still need 3 more. Luckily, King Greatlog and Dead Tree did see the Sinister Star, and they've come to lend their aid in accordance to some, weird ancient prophecy, and also so their kingdoms don't die. Now we just need to find our final member.
And last but not least, a man who has a true passion for monsters and knows everything about them. Great Tree's own, revered, legendary old monster scout. Myself, of course. I'll just see myself out then.
Yeah, sure. I can make this work. Whatever. Now, what makes Terry's Wonderland's postgame so interesting is there's an attempt to actually try and tell a story. The addition of any degree of characterization and storytelling completely changes the tone of the game, from a repetitive grindfest into a dramatic yet humorous role-playing game. Wait, that's just what Dragon Quest games usually are. I know the story isn't the most unique narrative, but compared to
That's a bit much.
it's a marked improvement. Hey there, quick interjection. Hopefully you've been enjoying the video so far. If you have, don't forget to hit the like button, and while you're at it, why not subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I upload next. And before we get back on topic, consider sharing the video with a friend. It could be some kind of conversation starter. Anyways, back to the video. So if you remember in the first Dragon Quest Monsters video, I complained about the game having a distinct lack of comedy, well, unless you somehow consider
That's a bit much.
to be funny. The postgame has actually a pretty funny bit. I mean, it's not the funniest gag, but compared to everything else so far, look, I'm just gonna let it play out. Anyways, welcome to Blight Tree. They call it that because it's actually just dying. Now at this point, we're given a little grace period before the actual competition to explore and shop. What you'll immediately learn, however, is that literally everyone here hates us. Tensions included, I'm honestly a big fan of the presentation here. The way Blight Tree is designed lets it accomplish a lot through just visual and musical presentation. The pale blue tint to the exteriors have this cold and distant feeling, while the dark stone interiors give a very uninviting vibe. The music that plays is a sad and haunting melody that further enhances the somber atmosphere. It isn't a super original track, there are quite a few Dragon Quest songs that sound just like it, but I think it does the job quite well. Taking the time to speak with the populace, we learn that the Celestial Fiends have been diligently looking after the citizenry of Blight Tree for over 400 years, keeping the kingdom alive in whatever way they can until the next tournament. Wait, weren't they supposed to be every 100 years? You know, it doesn't sound like they're all that bad, actually, which, of course, raises the question, are they really the bad guys here? Cool, so we're just not going to explore that at all. Heading toward the castle gates, we're met by this discount Gomez Adams-looking dude. This is Sebastian, and he is going to be our guide for the rest of the post-game. He tells us to meet him on the castle roof, then phases out of existence. Man, that guy's a little spooky. I sure hope he isn't going to make a habit of that. On the roof, we run into Rugius and the rest of the fiends. They've been waiting up here for us to show up so they can be spooky and intimidating. Oh, okay, and then they just warp away. Well, that was weird. I wonder what the rules for the tournament...
No,
Jesus, man! Don't do that! I knew he would do that. I just knew it! According to Sebastian, the competition will take place within these 4 gates. We must select one of our party members and journey into the dungeon with them with the goal of defeating the Celestial Fiend waiting below. The catch is that each member of our party can only enter a Traveler Gate once, so we're supposed to carefully pick the party member whose team is strongest against the Fiend we'll be facing. Speaking of which, let's cover who we're up against. First is the Celestial Fiend of Ice, Argo. His whole gimmick is crack-type spells and instant death abilities. He's also paired up with a Fire Eater and Ice Eater and a Dark Crystal. Supposedly, he's the strongest of the 4. Siphon's up next. His team's gimmick is Undead Monsters, specifically a Dullahan and Dead Massacre. He's a proficient magic caster focusing on frizz and baying spells. According to Sebastian here, he's the weakest Celestial Fiend. Whether that's true or not, he certainly looks to be the comfiest wearing that big blanket all the time. Next, we've got Hogiera, this big whale-looking MF. His team focuses on high defense and physical attacks. He's got a Hornbeat and Nightclubber. He's considered the 3rd strongest member of the 4. Finally, we have Vera. She's furry bait. Her team comprises exclusively Beast family members such as Jumping Jackal, Leopold, and Tantamount. Her team's fighting style emphasizes rapid attacks. Now, before each gate, we get to check out our party members' teams to see what they're bringing to the table. King Great Tree's team consists of Flay, the liquid metal slime, Kieran the killing machine, Turgon, a metal dragon, and Mick, a mimic. Great Log has Arnon, a calamari, and Guard, an uber killing machine. Dead Tree has Ita, the tulip, Rose, the malign vine, and Degora, the herb man. Millie's team hasn't changed since the game's main final battle. She still has Trung, the metal king slime, Alto, the coat, and Lane, the prism peacock. Aww, all the monsters being named is adorable. The intended approach here is to use the information Sebastian gives you before each gate to select which teammate would be best suited to help you take down the corresponding Celestial Fiend. Intended, of course, being the operative word here. Now, if you remember the fusion chain from last video, you'll know that that isn't what went down. What really happened is my teammates' monsters chilled in the backline while these absolute unstoppable units obliterated all the Cecil Archfiends without breaking a sweat.
That's a bit...
Fuck! Stop doing that! You've gotta stop that, man. But yeah, I'll bring it up. After each bout, your teammate makes a fun little in-character comment or joke, which is then followed by Sebastian phasing in and saying,
That's a bit much.
The difference between when the jester does it and when Sebastian does is that these moments aren't really here for a cheap laugh, but instead to offer a little more characterization for your party members. It's honestly a really big shame that there wasn't any character writing like this in the base game, because this could honestly have been a much more enjoyable game with it. After defeating each of the fiends, we're rewarded with a massive earthquake.
Anyways, it's time for the final round.
Wait, are we not going to address...
Shut up and go fight Rugius, though it's not like you're going to win.
Upon reaching the bottom of the Flame Gate, we're shown a vision of the past. Looks like 400 years ago, when the original tournament was supposed to have taken place, the Celestial Fiends were assaulted by mankind and the Spirit Stone stolen. Following this deception, the Kingdom of Blight Tree was sealed and its residents imprisoned. Like I said earlier, are the fiends really the bad guys? Finally, we stand before Monsterkind's ultimate warrior, Rugius. He admits to being concerned about the power Terry possesses, but is resolved to fight for his kingdom nonetheless. Rugius is paired up with an Alabast Dragon and Draculard. For the first time in literal hours, I have found an enemy that puts up even a fraction of a fight. Rugius' team weathered my strongest attacks and even managed to deal a fair bit of damage themselves. However, as my team has been carefully fused to near perfection, my victory is inevitable. Rugius falls to a knee on the verge of defeat. However, before Terry can issue the final attack order, Argo intervenes. It turns out the Celestial Fiends have decided to forgo the competition and just outright threaten us, holding the rest of the party hostage. You know, given the history, that's valid. However, counterpoint, here's another earthquake. A dread prophecy has been passed down in the Kingdom of Blight Tree, foretelling the kingdom's destruction at the hands of a fell beast should the Spirit Stone not be reclaimed and used to seal the monster. Long ago, attempting to prepare themselves for the beast's arrival, the fiends sought to employ a forbidden ritual to empower themselves. Unfortunately, none among them was strong enough to survive the transformation, and so, in a final act of desperation, Rugius' older brother Mizar elected to subject himself to the ritual anyways. Predictably, the ritual failed, and Mizar was transformed into the Beast of Prophecy, fated to destroy the very realm he sought to protect. As the fiends face off with Terry, our allies captured, Rugius demands Argo stand down. Despite what's on the line, he refuses to dishonor our battle by cheating and accepts his loss with dignity. However, having witnessed Terry's courage in facing all four of the fiends and then himself, Rugius is still resolved to face his brother, even should it cost them both their lives. He asks Terry to stand with him and summons a portal into the final Traveler's Gate, the Confinement Gate. Where the hell has this plot been the whole game? This is kind of gas, not gonna lie. After fighting our way to the bottom of the gate, Terry and Rugius finally stand before the prophesized beast, Mizarkane. This is a massive guy, and his attacks don't mess around. This guy, he gets 3 attacks. How the hell is that fair? The battle is actually no joke. By the time I'm able to wear the beast down, the group is on the verge of defeat, and that's after applying party buffs. Jeez, talk about a step up in difficulty. As Mizarkane slumps over in exhaustion, Rugius rushes the monster, seeking to finish it off once and for all. Oh my god. Oh my god, it ate him. In a flash of light, the beast transforms, re-emerging as the strongest monster, number 609, Mizar Rugius. Oh, so that's what I was trying to fuse. Huh. Yeah, so it turns out the brothers are the reborn halves of an elder god of war and destruction, and by reuniting, he has been reborn. Oh, that's not good. Mizar Rugius casts a massive crackle spell, throwing Terry across the room. Slowly, he approaches, seeking to finish the young monster scout for good. And then, the most anime thing ever happens. Blight Tree itself speaks to Terry in his mind. It's using the last of its life force to weaken the Elder God, and Terry's the only one left who can stop the demon and save the brothers. Yeah, you know what? I'll allow it. With a roar, the final battle begins. Mizar Rugius is a scary final boss. From the outset, he starts throwing attacks at me I've never even heard of, and they hit hard. This guy even goes as far as to use Hatchet Man on my team. He uses fucking Hatchet Man. And it lands? For the first time since I began my fusion journey countless hours ago, I'm forced to heal my party. It's been so long, I was worried Zoma had forgotten how, and that's what I fused him for. Following a brutal battle of clashing spells and overwhelming attacks, I finally lay the beast low. With Mizar Rugius felled, the two brothers unfuse. As Rugius wakes, he notices an opportunity to finally put Mizar to rest once and for all. However, before he can deliver the final blow, Great Tree yells for him to stop. He's brought the Spirit Stone, in the hopes of restoring Mizar to his original form. But, to prevent future fighting, Great Tree has this 1000 IQ idea to break the all-important Spirit Stone in half. And that works. Okay. With the prophecy averted and Mizar saved, humans and monsters are able to set aside their differences and become friends, deciding to continue the tradition of the Starry Night Tournament as a sign of goodwill between both peoples. And with that, the game is actually done. No fake-out ending or to be continued, we're actually done this time. Sure, the game has more places to explore. Sure, you can even rematch Celestial Fiends to add them to your team. You can even go and fight the Monster Grandpa. But as far as we're concerned, we're finally done here. I'm not really sure how they did it, but somehow the remake exclusive post-game content is 100 times better than the base game. But does it do enough to redeem the lackluster main story? I feel like ultimately that's for you to decide, but I'm glad I stuck around to the end. Thanks a ton for sticking with me to the end of the video. I set off on this journey around a year ago, and frankly I'm just glad to finally be able to close the curtain on this project. If you enjoyed the video, then please make sure to hit that snazzy little like button, and while you're at it, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get updates on any new projects I cook up. In the meantime, however, I'm a little light on projects, so if you have any ideas for a piece of media you'd like to see me cover, make sure to drop it in the comments. I promise I won't take a year to work on it this time. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take it easy.